Steam is rolling out a new and improved family system, helping keep those PC bloodlines pure, maybe making the platform a little safer for kids. We'll talk about the changes ahead.
And the PlayStation 5 Pro was announced. We've got all the info on the specs and price. We're going to talk about all this stuff and a bunch more right now on Gaming News Weekly. What's up, everybody? It's time for another episode of Gaming News Weekly, the best weekly video game news show out there every single Monday. You can find us on Fruit Lab, YouTube, and podcast services everywhere, talking about all the biggest things happening in the video game industry. My name is Erock the Red. I am joined every week by this young man right here, Mr. Full Clip. What is up?
Appreciate it. Not so young anymore, but I appreciate that.
You look youthful.
I appreciate it. Well, man, I'm a little torn. You know how I love my side hustles, and this whole podcast was kind of one of those for us to be able to earn some currencies on the side, pay for our gaming, and so I finally saved up enough on the side to be able to afford a game, and I just don't know what to get. I was kind of between Jedi, what was the game? Star Wars Outlaws. And now Space Marine 2, the Warhammer game. And I've been kind of pushed away from the idea of Star Wars Outlaws. And then everything that I hear about Space Marine 2 is great. So I kind of want to get that. Yeah. But I don't know that it has like the multiplayer element that I want, because I think it's all PvE. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. I think I'm leaning towards Warhammer for you. Everything I've heard is just like a super fun game, you know? But then again, like, I don't know, dude. Star Wars Outlaws looks great. But, you know, maybe save that for a sale, you know?
And some bug fixes down the road somewhere there.
Sure, yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, you know, that one could only use a little bit of time. Price will come down, the gameplay will go up. I'm hearing that, Warhammer 40K it's a lot of fun. It's a throwback. Maybe you could get one of the new releases that we're going to talk about. There's a lot of them.
I've got one of them. Haven't played it yet, but we'll get into it.
Oh, I'm excited to hear about that. So you're left undecided. You haven't played anything. You're just waiting to see which
I'm leaning toward Warhammer, but I think I need to watch some streams or something and see maybe what that multiplayer element looks like. Maybe see what some of the gameplay looks like, because I'm mostly going off trailers so far.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, let me know. Maybe next week this conversation will have led to I'm playing a new game. But we'll see. Or you could just take that money, not just play a free game on your phone and just go buy a bunch of beer.
Yeah.
That's also an option. Yeah. I haven't played much new this week. We finished Astrobot, my son and I, and are on the path to platinum the game. Not much more. I think we've got maybe like 35 hours in it total. Combined, him and I. And then I've been playing. I did start a new game on my Steam Deck. It's called Signy All Guns Blazing, and I had gotten a review copy sent to me, and I just didn't have time to play it prior to its release. It came out in early August. I remember I was doing vacation and stuff like that, and I was like, well, let me check it out now. And it's on Steam. It's on mixed reviews. So I was like, I didn't expect much when I got into it, and it's just like a shmup. It's like a sci-fi shooter that you're in like this, aircraft, and you go through and you shoot all this stuff. It's from Konami. It is one of the most gorgeous shoot 'em ups like I've ever played. It looks like, it's amazing. But that's when you read the reviews. That's one of the complaints, is that it's all like, visuals and the gameplay is just kind of meh. And I would agree with that to some extent. I like the shmup style. I'm not great at them on the high levels. Like when people are playing it and it's super hard, that's when I give up. Like, I don't need that. I got it, I'm like, I like the gameplay. I'll go through. I like a little bit of a challenge, but when it's like, I don't know, when it's impossible. And that's another complaint, is that on normal, it's like, it's so hard to play. So I'm playing it on easy and I'm having fun with it. And, that's really not, a ton to add. It's, you've got your different types of weapons, and it's, if you've played a shoot 'em up, you've played them all. There's different, styles of weapons and stuff that keeps it cool, different power-ups, and it's the same idea. But yeah, it's good. I would say my review, wait for a sale if you're a fan of the genre, and grab it just because it needs to be seen, because it's so beautiful. It's got like these amazing cutscenes, and it's fantastic.
Nice.
So wait for a sale. Check it out then. That's my official take. That's GNW's official take on Signy.
So is that like a PS5 title or PC? Maybe both.
I think it's everywhere.
Oh, okay.
I'm playing it on my Steam Deck, and it's playing great there. No issues. It gets a little, it pushes the boundaries of the deck, So,
I imagine a shoot 'em up has like a lot of crap going on at the same time.
Yeah, there's a lot, and because everything is so, highly detailed, that it adds that. So I lower it down, the frames per second. I'll lower it a little bit. It still runs just fine. But you get a little bit more battery life and that sort of thing out of it that way. I think fans of the genre, don't be afraid of the mixed reviews. Just give it a shot when it's on sale. But that's pretty much it. I've been battling a cold and I haven't really wanted to do anything. So hopefully next week will be better. Maybe I'll get one of these new release games.
And we got plenty of them on the list to get.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about them. These are the games that came out last week. All right. First up, Rugrats Adventures in Gameland came out September 10th on all the systems. This is a platformer. You got, let's see if I can do it. Tommy, Chucky, Phil and Lil, Angelica. She's probably there somewhere. But it's a platformer in the style of Super Mario 2. You can play as any of those characters. They each have their own kind of different abilities. You could pick stuff up and throw it, and the different styles of jump. And one of the cool things about this, you could switch between like the full HD animated look and a old school like 8-bit Game Boy style thing, and it's you can play through the game either way. You can play it solo or co-op, and it looks cute. I don't know who asked for it, who was like, we need a new Rugrats game now, but it's there. One thing that is really giving it some negative reviews is that you could complete it 100% in about 90 minutes, which is crazy. It's a $25 game. But, the people that they're giving it a hard time for that are saying it's a fun game. It's a solid, Super Mario style platformer. Yeah. So
it does look like
maybe another one you wait for a sale.
Yeah. Well, better yet, this is the one that I got on the list, and that's because it is a free game this week on Epic Games.
Oh, dude, this is another one. So that Signy, the week that came out on Steam, it was free on Epic as well.
Okay.
And I found that out because people on Steam are review bombing it because of that.
They paid for it.
This is free. Yeah, I paid for it here, and they're giving it's free on Epic. Like. Okay. That's crazy.
All right, so I wonder.
So have you tried it?
No, not yet. I've downloaded it. I intend to play it. But that the Signy Guns Blazing, I wondered why I knew that name, and that's why I got it in my Epic library. I just downloaded
You do?
everything.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rugrats Adventures in Gameland. I want to try it out. I grew up on Rugrats. It's one of like my first sort of cartoons that I remember watching as a kid.
Right.
And I had all kinds of toys and even like the classic PC games that they came out with back in the day. After the movie came out and you're in like the Reptar Mobile or something.
Yes.
I think that when I play it, I'm not really going to be switching over to that Nintendo like NES style graphic mode. It's just, it doesn't look very good to me.
No, it doesn't. I don't. When you have the beautiful like HD graphics, like why? I don't know. You know, check it out, see if there's any draw to it, whatever, and report back. But yeah, I don't know why you would want to play that, other than it's adding playtime to the game. You know, if you want to play through in both ways, then you're up to
a whole 3 hours.
3 hours. Yeah. So, well, that's great that they gave that away for free because, when I saw it was $25 and people were saying, I completed the very first review on Steam. The guy said he 100% it in 64 minutes.
Damn.
And he's like, I'm not a speedrunner. It was just that easy.
Well,
so,
maybe this is a game that really gets a speedrunning community behind it, though.
Exactly. Yeah, it would be seeing like, that
20-minute run.
I completed 5 minutes. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I'm. We talked about platformers last week with Astrobot and how I'm a sucker for the genre, and I like to just have fun sometimes. I don't need a super hard challenge. I just want to have fun and see the worlds that they're in. So this should be another one like that. Take you back to when you were a youngster, watching Rugrats.
Oh yeah.
All right. Another one to take you back from when you were a youngster. Lollipop Chainsaw Repop came out September 12th on not all of them. PS4 and Xbox One comes out in November. But the rest of them, we got Lollipop Chainsaw Repop. So this is a game that originally came out in 2012. It was made by Suda51 and James Gunn, who we now know from, Suicide Squad and Peacemaker. And it's an action-adventure hack-and-slash style game where you're a cheerleader with a chainsaw and you're fighting zombies. Classic, the classic trope. And I never played it back in the day. Is this one that you ever got a chance to check out?
I didn't, but I so remember like all the imagery and stuff of it because it's one of those games that's like, it's really sexualized and it reminds me of some of the games that were out like BMX, Triple X back in the day. So it always caught my eye, not gonna lie. Just never played it.
Yep.
I like the concept.
Yeah, exactly. And this is definitely a game, that of that era. And it's kind of, now that it's out again, it's kind of a different time. So that like IGN is refusing to do a review on it because it's, overly sexualized and stuff like that. But overall, it got improved graphics, gameplay, all the visuals are all, popping, but it's basically the same game. It's just a remaster of the original game. And it's something that I definitely do want to check out. Like we talked about it again with that gory cuddly carnage a couple weeks ago. It's kind of this return of fun, AA games that are this just out there having fun action games that don't, there's not a ton of thought going into them. It's just this one you're fighting zombies and stuff like that as a cheerleader with a chainsaw.
Oh, yeah.
So there's not much more you need. But and like James Gunn like took parts of this game that he made and like put it in like the Harley vision in Suicide Squad when she's like killing things and there's like hearts and birds flying around. That's like a feature that's in this game, and it's so it's cool. I want to see it just for its roots because I did never get a chance to play it back when it was originally out. All right, next up, Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection came out on September 12th on PC, PS4, Nintendo Switch, Xbox comes out in 2025 sometime. So that one's not out yet. But this one, again, this is the one that I almost bought because I have a very my remembering of like these games. I'm not good at these 2D fighting games at all. But back when they were first out, this was the only games I could play as X-Men or these, Marvel characters that you don't see regularly. So it was amazing. So I remember sitting in the, in the pause menu, looking at the moves, trying to figure out moves so I could get better at this game. And for a bunch of them. So this game includes 7 games. X-Men Children of the Atom, Marvel Superheroes, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom Clash of Superheroes, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, New Age of Heroes, and The Punisher. So great. It's got all the games that had Marvel characters in them. And on top of that, you could play it online. You could play it with co-op. It's got this section where you could look at the artwork. It's got over 500 pieces of artwork from the original games, concept art, and then the 200 music tracks you could listen to. So it's got that extra little stuff. But I've heard the gameplay is great. There's been a few matchmaking issues. And I don't know if that's just because there's not a ton of people playing it or what, but yeah, I would get it and just play, solo arcade mode, just so I could see Hulk and Spider, all this cool stuff. So it'll something I get maybe somewhere down the line. I'm not dying to get it right now because I'm not going to be playing it online, getting my butt whooped by some of the pros out there.
Yeah.
So
I mean, any of these fighting games, sort of the Mortal Kombat effect, you're gonna get steamrolled by the people who kind of know life it. But this is one of those genres of game. Did we end up doing a top 5 on this? Because I know we were talking about it at least.
No, we never did.
These
and I would love
games.
to. Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The mashup games. Yeah, we did talk about it, and I remember looking at it. But yeah, it's great. I love when there's the crossovers, and Capcom always does them really well. So yeah, and they're fun games. I do wish I was better at them, but yeah, they're hard, man. You gotta know a 78 button combo to pull off this. It's intense.
And man, it's way easier to do at home, I'm sure, than it is to do when it's the physical arcade machine. Because I remember these, the Marvel vs. Capcom and other versions of that back in the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. All right, next up, Jackbox Naughty Pack came out September 12th on PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC. This one, it's your classic Jackbox games you play with your phone through whatever PC console you're doing it with. Party games you play with a bunch of your friends. This is the first time that they've kind of went to a more mature style of game, even though most people play it that way. And they even said it in the game release, we've seen how you play this game, so now we're this is for you. And I don't know if it really needed this, because I don't know. I don't want it to be forced. Don't force me to make creepy, dirty answers. But anyways, this one's got 3 titles: Faking It All Night Long, Dirty Drawful, and then Let Me Finish. So already people are upset. It's only 3 games. There's always at least 5 in these packs. And then that 2 of them are they just took the games and kind of made them a little bit more mature.
Right.
So
when you could already play those exact games that exact same way, just not without the same prompts. Exactly.
Yeah. So the prompts are a little bit more mature. But yeah, it's one that, again, I have, I think, probably all of them, maybe minus one of the Jackbox party packs, and they're always fun, with the right group of people. So this one, I'll probably get it eventually. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, when I play Drawful, like you said, it gets dirty anyways. So do I need? The concern I have is that this might be cringe if they're it's do it dirty now, and I'm this, I don't like this. It freaks me out.
Yeah,
so
it could be cool. I'll reserve judgment. I'll probably pop on Steam and find somebody who, if you can grab somebody who has 5 viewers, there's a good chance you can get into game after game, and if they have a good personality, it's a pretty fun time just to play with strangers on the internet. But I'd like to get in there and try it out. I think ideally in the future, what would be great, they have so many options under these games in the packs. Just have a slider. Like, do you want 18 plus material or not?
Right. That's a great idea. Yeah. And just have a certain number of prompts for that or not. Yeah.
And not every game, but like 3 out of the 5. That would be great.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. All right. And then our last one we're going to talk about this week, Funko Fusion, came out September 13th on PC, PS5, Xbox X and S. The Nintendo Switch and PS4 versions will be out in November. This is a third-person action game. It's got a ton of different movie characters included in there. You got Back to the Future, Jaws, Jurassic World, Chucky, The Thing, like so many different movies and TV shows in there. And it kind of looked like a third-person version of like the Lego games. Yeah. And that's kind of what we thought. I know you and I were really excited for this coming up. You could play it solo, co-op. It's got over 60 playable characters, and they each have different weapons and moves. Unfortunately, the reviews are not great on this one as well, saying that it's got boring gameplay and it's very buggy currently. So that was a bummer, because this is kind of one that I was like, I'm looking for something to play, and it's got like all the things. It's got, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, like all these things that I'm a big fan of all of them. So it would be fun to play as those characters. But after I read, like, one of the reviews basically just says, like, who is this for? Right. Like, the gameplay is so simple and boring that it's too easy for like adults, but like the characters in it aren't characters that kids are gonna know. Right. So it's weird.
Yeah, I was reading those exact comments. I wanted to go see what the critics were saying and what the fans had to say. Like, this is again, I like the idea of this. It's that mashup style of game, and it really works for Lego. It works for multiverses and all these games that are doing it. We're kind of spoiled for these types of games right now. If those other ones didn't exist, then this would maybe be groundbreaking in every other way but the gameplay. But yeah, that's another one. Like, I can wait for it to go on sale, and if this is a $20 to $25 game, I'll play through it and enjoy those characters, even if it's a little simplistic. I don't have to always like have a shitty time gaming just to challenge myself.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I do like about these. Like, again, back to the talk about platforms. If it's fun and it's like, got parts that are hitting that part of my heart where it's like, okay, this is what I'm looking for. It's something like easygoing, chill. Hopefully, I don't know, when they say boring gameplay, like the Lego games were that. It was one button, so I don't know what they expected, because that's what I expected going in. Like, if it's going to be a Lego game where I'm just smashing stuff, it's it's the same thing. But I don't know, we'll see. I got to watch some video of it. I haven't seen any, but I did see that they are selling like DLC, like Master of the Universe characters. You could get like a pack of them, and it includes all this stuff. So I hope that's not what the main intention of this game was. Like, let's make a game that we could just keep putting out Funko, characters and trying to just sell this DLC over and over again.
Right.
But yeah, I got to see more. It was really like the Metacritic score, I think it was like, I don't know, it was like 40 something. It was low. But it only had like 4 reviews. So,
right. And
we got to wait and see where it's at.
One of those that we're talking about, it was another, like we talked just the other week, like people were giving it a 0 when it is definitely their explanation does not mean it should be a 0.
Sure. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So, that is it for our new releases from last week. It was a big week for AA games. So lots of, it seems like the theme for this week was just, everything is just meh. But, maybe next week will be better. All right, it's time to move things along and get into our news of the week. All right, our top story this week, the PlayStation 5 Pro was announced. It was like right after last week's show came out that they announced the new one. So, it's a little bit older news, but now we're going to chat about it. So they revealed it in like, I don't know, it was like a 10-minute showcase talking about what it adds to it. And then they did some side-by-side, this is what it looks like with the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 5 Pro. Looked identical to me. I didn't see much of a difference. It was a terrible way to sell it. Now I'm watching it. I'm not watching it on a super fancy monitor or anything like that. So when you're comparing these two games side by side, and maybe it needs a fancier monitor, I don't know. It was weird. It was a weird showcase. So some of the things that it upgrades. Let's get into that before we talk about our thoughts. Advanced ray tracing, super sharp image clarity, and high frame rate gameplay. It's supposed to be helping out. It's got this PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, the PSSR, they're calling it. So it's super sharp image clarity on a 4K TV using AI enhanced resolution for ultra high definition play. So that sounds cool when they're describing things. But then it's got, support for 60 hertz, 120 hertz displays. Advanced ray tracing, so reflections, shadows, all the lighting is it should be that extra pop. And then there are PS5 Pro enhanced games, so like specific titles that you can really see the difference. Like Demon Souls, Gran Turismo, Horizon, you could see the difference. So that's it, and the cost. $700, and that does not include a disk drive. You'd have to purchase a disk drive separately if you wanted to continue to use physical media, and you need to buy a stand too if you want it to stand up, which is, I believe, the proper way to have that. So, what were your thoughts after you saw this?
Yeah, it's as we talked in the past, I might be in the market for one of these or some kind of console in the coming year because of Grand Theft Auto 6 not being out on PC. So I come to it from the perspective of I do not have a PS5 currently. Is this the best route into it? And I have to think for like $700, I don't know that I care about that top of the line stuff because I don't think my TV, it's a 4K TV, but I don't know that I need 120 hertz or, 60 will do me. And 1440p looks fine to me. So I don't have to have that top of the line. And when this comes out, I can imagine that people are going to start selling their PS5s for a little bit cheaper, maybe find one used for $300 to $400. That seems like a better deal than $700 plus another $80 for a disc drive because I'm going to be taking up the slot on my entertainment system that has the Blu-ray player in it currently because, I don't know, I'm going back to physical media for movies, not so much video games. But, what do you think about that price? Because that's the big thing that I see people kind of upset about.
Yeah, and I kind of, when thinking about it, I was like, I kind of expected it to be that price, but at the same time, because I'm like, I don't think that it's a good price point, but at the same, I was like, but I don't think it can be lower for what they're offering, for what So right. It's this place where I don't know who this is for. I mean, it's for the people with, more expendable income that like nice things. And there's a lot of them out there. So I think it's going to sell just fine. But for people who either already have a PlayStation 5, I don't know if it's enough to upgrade. Again, it depends if you want the top of the line. But at the same time, you're steps away from getting a PC, a high-end PC at that price too. So, there's choices. But I do think that it'll sell fine when it does come out. I don't think it's overpriced for what it is offering. But I just don't know how big the market is for that. Because like you said, you got to have the nice TV. You want to have, you want to have all of it. And, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there with all of it, that focus on the graphics and they want it to look the best. But yeah, that's It's not you or I, so it's hard to put ourselves in those shoes,
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, I'd rather, if I'm jumping into PlayStation, I'd rather look for a refurb for $400 and play it and enjoy the games that are going to be still made for the PlayStation 5. They're not being made for this high end thing, so it's like that's the other thing, like it's not a huge leap. The games are being made for the PlayStation 5 with maybe a few extra bells and whistles for the Pro. I'm getting everything that the developers are intending in the base PlayStation 5 model. So, yeah, is it worth it for those extra, ray tracing or whatever?
Yeah. And I think the console game is creeping ever closer to the PC game. Now in price especially. And I agree with you. I don't think they could sell it any cheaper for what it is, because it is like, I don't think you could build a PC unless you found some really good deals on some older generation hardware or something like that. I don't think you're going to build a $700 PC that's going to be quite as good as this. We're talking about ray tracing and doing that at like higher resolutions and frame rates and things like that. I don't think you're going to get that, because you could go and spend $700 on a GPU itself to get a decent gaming experience on PC. And then you got to worry about all the other parts on top of that. So yeah, for what it is, if that's all you're concerned about, that's probably a really good deal. Is ultimately, are you better off spending a few more $100s and getting a decent gaming PC? I believe so, just because of the whole world of stuff that it unlocks for you, modding your games just being a one major thing.
Sure. Yeah, if that's something, you want to get into, then why not at that point? It's going to be interesting after it does come out, because up until now, the new iterations of consoles have always been about getting that, the upgrade in graphics and like, wow, this looks amazing. But now that we're at that kind of the upper echelon, the top tier, where do we go from here? Like, the cost is continuing to rise with that. And where is the market for this? Do people want lower cost, consoles that are going to do, what we have right now? Because that was the first thing we saw. People were very upset at the price point, but you said it. Like, it's not a terrible price for what you're getting. It's just people don't want to pay $700 for a PlayStation. So, and I get that,
Yeah.
So where do we go from here?
I think the answer is, if that's the case, don't. Because you have another really good option right there with the PS5. So you don't have to have the biggest, best, shiniest thing.
Right. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm the wrong person. Like, I have the Xbox Series S, which is, it's a much notable difference compared to the X, but it's my Game Pass machine. It allows me to play indie games on it, and I'm fine with that. So, like, that's kind of my way of gaming. Like, I don't need the finest things as long as I can play fun games. So, we'll see. I'm very interested to see like how it does do and what this means for the PlayStation 6 or the Xbox, whatever that's gonna be going forward. Because we're pretty much at the peak here. So we'll see. November 7th it launches. Let us know if you're picking it up. I want to know, is it awesome? Is it not awesome? Keep us in the loop. All right, next up, more layoffs are coming out of Microsoft, specifically the Xbox gaming department. Another 650 staff were laid off from its gaming business. Phil Spencer sent out a memo letting people know that it's really due to organize their business for long-term success, and this is because of the Activision Blizzard acquisition. Still redundancies, that sort of thing. No studios are being closed. No games are being affected. It really is just corporate and support functions as far as the layoffs. So now, this brings it to about 2,550 staff having been laid off since the Activision Blizzard acquisition last year, which is crazy, dude. I mean, to always expect it with these large corporate mergers that, obviously you got two people doing the same job, you don't need it. But when you think about the numbers, man, 2,500 people in a year being laid off, like, oof, it hurts, dude.
Right.
So, what do you think?
Didn't they say this wasn't going to happen? Like, as far as, the FTC was trying to crack down on them, I'm pretty sure. And that was one of the big things they said was going to happen.
Yeah. Yep, they did. And I think after the last batch of layoffs, they're like, okay, that's it. And now, obviously, it wasn't it, another 650. But, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But there's a whole, like Phil Spencer put out, the whole memo, and you could go read that. I'm not going to read it here because it is just, I feel like every time there's a layoff, it's the exact same kind of, corporate speak. Like, we're on the right track now for growth. But yeah, in this instance, it's just, knowing that no studios are being closed, which is great. Hopefully this is it now. We're moving forward.
Right.
We'll see.
This is like, we didn't include it in last week's because there's nothing more than an entertaining quote, but wasn't it Phil Spencer who had an interview with somebody and he says, like, I've made some of the worst gaming decisions in life. I passed on this project, that project.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd hate to be
exactly
laid off by him right now and then look back a week at the headline. I made some of the worst gaming decisions ever. Thanks, boss.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I know, like, everybody loves Phil Spencer. He's, but it's gotta be tough. All right. Next up, this is a pretty crazy story. So, Annapurna Interactive, their entire gaming staff resigned because of a leadership dispute. So this came from an article on Bloomberg, and they talk about, so initially Annapurna Interactive, this is the gaming part of Annapurna, because they also have Annapurna Pictures and all that stuff. But anyways, the gaming section had Nathan Gary, he was their president, and he was in negotiations with Annapurna founder Megan Ellison to spin the gaming segment off as its own company. And Ellison pulled out in those negotiations. That fell through, and Gary resigned. And then right after that, the rest of the team followed him, and they left too. So another 30 people left and joined Gary in this dispute. And then there were, they tried to negotiate and get everything back, and it was just all nothing. Nothing was changing them. Nathan Gary said, all 25 members of the Annapurna Interactive team collectively resigned. This was one of the hardest decisions we have ever had to make, and we did not take this action lightly. While negotiations were happening, they brought in another guy to head up the thing, and they're going to just continue without those 30 people. And they said, our top priority is continuing to support our developer and publishing partners during this transition. We're committed to not only our existing slate of games, but also expanding our presence in the interactive space as we continue to look for opportunities to take a more integrated approach to linear and interactive storytelling across film and TV, gaming, and theater. They're just going to start filling the roles that left, and partner with third parties to fill gaps as needed, they said. Yeah. Which is crazy that, that this whole thing happened. Yeah. Just a couple weeks ago, we talked about Annapurna, how they're working with Remedy to fund Control 2 and make movies and stuff. That's not being affected. That's from Annapurna Pictures. So that's not, that's not part of this thing. And weird story.
So yeah, that's an impressive show of solidarity for everybody to walk out with them. Mm-hmm. One thing I missed in all of this is, like, what is the reasoning behind them wanting to spin it off? And my guess would be so they can work more independently or something, or so that if for some reason one branch fails, the other one isn't affected, jobs aren't cut over what happens with the other one or something like that. Have you read anything about that?
Yeah. No, and I haven't. I wanted to read more from so Bloomberg it has a paywall. I can't get in there, so I had to go to IGN to read the article, their version of it. So I don't know if Bloomberg, if it has more information, but yeah, I don't know. Everything I read is that the corporate part of Annapurna maybe it wasn't in line with what Annapurna Interactive wanted to do, so maybe they wanted to spin off and do their own thing. But I don't know. They've had great, like Stray, Neon White, some great games coming out of there. So hopefully that group can do something. I don't know if they could put something together, or go get some funding and kind of make their own studio. I don't know what's next for them, but anything that is currently at Annapurna Interactive will continue to be worked on and hopefully come out unaffected. So. All right, next up, the PlayStation Plus game catalog for September was announced. Some great games coming here. The Plucky Squire coming to PlayStation Plus, the extra and premium catalog day one. So that's a game that I've been very much looking forward to. I was going to buy it day one, and now I think what I'll do is I'll just subscribe to the PlayStation Plus. In fact, last night I was looking to try to see if I could just get like a month, if they do it like Game Pass does, where you can just subscribe for a month and play it. Because I don't think it's a long game. I think it's maybe like an 8-hour game, and it's I think like $30. So I was like, well, maybe I could just get a month of PlayStation Plus. But I don't know if you can buy them monthly thing. It might just be like because I'm already signed up for PlayStation Plus for the base tier.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, just pay $40 more and you could have it for the rest of the time. It's like prorated. So I'm like, this is weird. I couldn't figure it out. But all right, getting back to this. Under the Waves, also coming out, Night in the Woods, Chernobylite, Wild Card Football, Space Engineers, Road 96, Ben 10, and Far Cry 5, all coming out to PlayStation Plus Extra. And then on the PlayStation Plus Premium, you also get Pistol Whip, which is a VR2 game, and then Secret Agent Clank, Sky Gunner, and Mr. Mosquito for the premium section. So really just, Plucky Squire, that's a huge get for them to be a part of that. And then the rest of the games are fine, nothing blowing me away, but
nice little potpourri.
Plucky Squire, nice little potpourri. Yeah. But I'll be talking about Plucky Squire a lot next week, I'm sure, because that ever since that one was announced and I saw the first time when the storybook character jumped out of the storybook and is just walking around this world, I'm like, I need this game. It looks so good. So that comes out September 17th. So very excited. All right, and next up, I'm going to defer to you on this one. I know you said this is a big one. Steam Families is now live. Now this was, you just take it before I mess it all up.
All right. So we had a Steam Families ability in the past that would basically, if you want to tie your account to somebody else's account, you're able to play their games when they're offline. But that's the key point right there. They had to be offline or else you'd get kicked out of their game. I do that with my wife, so she has access to all my games if I'm not playing anything, and same. So she bought like Hogwarts Legacy. That allowed me to download the game on my PC and play it for a little bit. I only played like an hour of that game, but just to test it out and see what ray tracing looked like in it. But the way that this is going to change, that's one of the ways. So now family sharing, it doesn't matter if they're playing a game currently, you're going to have access to their other games in their library. Not the same game,
That's awesome.
Unless you have purchased multiple copies of the game.
Okay.
And then there's a little bit of weirdness with DLC. Like some DLC will be marked shareable by the people who, the developers, I guess, and some will, I guess, therefore not be shareable. So you might have to purchase DLC twice for different accounts or something like that. It's all still separate, so you're not like sharing progress, you're not sharing a save file or anything like that. And then the other big part of this is the new parental controls and child purchase requests. So let's say your household became a 2 Steam Deck household. If you were to set this up so that your child has access to your family, so that you're an adult account, he's a child account, that would give him access to the games that you want him to have access to. Maybe,
cool. Gotcha.
Yeah, like so all those not safe for work,
yeah,
all those adults only titles you've been downloading, he won't have access to that. But you can manage that as well, so that none can be accessed or seen on his account. And then also you can have purchase requests. So if he saw a game and it's $10 and he wants to download it, he can send you basically a purchase request, and then you can okay it and have that paid for.
That's great. Yeah, this is very cool. It's I like that they're doing this. Makes it real easy. I know, like I've seen like on Reddit people talking about like, you know, just friends like that aren't families. Be warned. I guess, you know, I did see that like if someone gets banned like that, your whole account could be banned if you're in family with someone who is doing things, is cheating or whatever. So, but yeah, that's really cool that Steam does allow that, where you can play these games and not have to buy multiple copies, could share and stuff. That's really cool. So yeah, we should be a family. Gaming News Weekly family, and then I'll just let you buy all the games going forward, and I'll just take advantage of that. This sounds like a great idea. But yeah, very cool. Go check out Steam Families. All right, and then last up, this is another fun little change of pace. There's a game called Byte Breakers coming out. Maybe coming out. We don't know what they're doing. So the studio is Odyssey Interactive, and they're trying something a little different. They're releasing an early prototype that, you know, players could get access to the playtest to determine if, like, people play it and they like it, and they're like, should we continue to pour time and money into this? Do you want to see a full game? So what this game specifically is, it's a 40-person, like a battle royale, like Smash Brothers style fighting game, which sounds really cool. So just based on the idea of it alone, I'm in. But I didn't get into the play tests. I think it's like today, as we're recording this, might be the last time they're doing it. There's no word on if they're going to do any future play tests. But I did see that the peak game over 2,700 concurrent players on Steam this weekend during the play tests. So yeah, that's promising, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think the idea has a lot of promise to it as well. It's, you know, Battle Royale, we talk about the saturation in these genres that are popular. Everybody wants to make one. Mm-hmm. But this is, I feel like, a different enough change. You have your Smash Brothers multiverses fighter element, but then you're adding on a lot of chaos. And I'm imagining this game, if you're playing it, like, you know, there's always the new meta every time a new character or set of characters comes out in multiverses most recently. So you have these matchups that work better than others. Sometimes you have like one character is great at kicking this other character's ass and the other's worthless against a certain character. So I'm imagining that going down on a scale of, what did they say, like 40 players or 50 players, something like that?
Yeah, 40 players.
40 players on this screen going at it. And I could see some crazy times happening.
Yeah, it sounds fun. And I saw this a little too late, because I would have definitely, like, well, I don't know if it would work for the Steam Deck anyways, but yeah, I thought it would be fun to check out. So the idea behind this, the studio last year came out with a game called Omega Strikers. It took them 3 years to develop. They released it last year, and then just, you know, I don't know, less than a year later, they ended support for it because it just didn't find, you know, a big following. So they said, here's a quote from them. It says, with Omega Strikers, we learned firsthand the risks of keeping things under wraps for too long, and we felt the pain of having to move on from something we poured 3 years of our passion into. For all of our next projects, we want to hear what you think much earlier. So that's why they're putting out these prototypes, which are basically like, I guess, alpha versions of games that just to see if the idea works. So I think it's great, and I would like to see this happen more, especially with these, games as a service, live service, free-to-play style games, and that sort of thing. So it's a good idea. We'll see what comes of it. Hopefully they'll have future play tests, because after seeing what this was, I was like, I want to try it. But
yeah.
All right, and that is it for us this week. You got anything else you want to chat about before we end things?
Nah, that's it.
That is it. All right, that's good, because I'm just, this cold, it's beating me up, dude. It's beating me up. I'm sure you can probably hear it in my voice as I'm talking. I'm just tired now. Yeah. But all right. Well, thank you so much for checking out this episode of Gaming News Weekly. Make sure you go over to YouTube, subscribe to Pop Culture Playground. That's the name of the channel that has this, a bunch of other stuff. While you're at YouTube, go to GameFAQs, GameFAX. That's Full Clips page. It's got some gaming content on there. And then if you want to just listen to the audio version, anywhere podcasts are found, just type in GNW, and you will get this podcast. It'll pop up, hit subscribe, and then you're ready to go. Every Monday morning, you'll have this show ready for your commute, your workout, all that stuff. And then you can be in the know. You can talk with all your nerdy video game friends about what's cool. And that's all I got. So, check us out on TikTok too. That's a fun place that we could, you could comment and we could have a conversation about video games. Flappy Bird's coming back.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I know you're excited. All right, that's all. Thanks so much. We'll see you next week.